Today is a little bit of a different video, but an exciting one, because as you see, I'm up walking around on something different than the kayak. We are going to do a video on my brand new 2025 Tracker Super Guide V16T. So a lot of you guys know the T stands for tiller. We're going to go through kind of the reasons why I went with the tiller, some of the details about the boat, the brand. Tracker is carried by Cabela's. That is where I bought the boat. We've been in the water 3 times. I've had the boat less than a week. And actually I did 3 mods on the boat before it even touched the water. So we'll go through, I'll tell you guys a little bit about the mods, what I did, how easy they were, and if they're worth you to do it. So first off, like I mentioned, this boat is a tiller. They do have the Super Guide in a side console option. But for me, the tiller was the way to go. And I guess I'll explain to you a couple of the reasons why. First and foremost, it's a 16-foot boat. So it's not the biggest of boats. It's 16-foot one technically, but it's a 16-foot boat. It's not very big. And for me, the extra space that I get from not having a side console is really beneficial for me. I would rather have more space to fish. Now, I do understand if you have a family and maybe a windshield is something that's important to you, and I get that because I have 2 little boys as well. But once again, it's only a side console. So the person who would be benefiting from the console or the windshield would be you, your kids, your wife, everybody else would still be in the wind. So to me, once again, to have that extra space was well worth it than going with the console. So I guess right now, maybe we'll go through some of the features on the boat, what I do like, what I don't like. All right, so first and foremost, it comes with this Minn Kota power drive unit. It's a 45-pound thrust motor. Very convenient. I've been fishing the last 2 days in this thing. The trolling motor has worked so good. The foot pedal is movable. They have a longer wire on there, so you have the ability of moving the foot pedal. It gives you some flexibility as far as where you want to sit, how you want to control the trolling motor. Moving back a little bit further, you have 2 storage lockers up front. Let me get this net out of the way. 2 storage lockers up front, and you see a pedestal you have here. So you actually have 3 options for seats. We'll get there in a little bit. So you have storage up front, storage here. It does connect through, but I have to say, you guys, it is not very deep. The one thing that I'm noticing, nothing to do with performance, is just the storage. Now, I do understand, like I was saying before, this is a 16-foot boat. It's a smaller fishing aluminum boat, so I do understand that the storage is not going to be plentiful. So you kind of have to understand that as you're going into it, realizing that this boat isn't going to be something that has a ton of storage. It's not going to have deep storage. So although it looks like that you have some storage, and you do, you have 2 up front, 2 on the sides. One would be a rod locker, the other would be storage. They're so shallow. Now this is 1 life jacket, and I don't think that we'd be able to fit another one on top, especially with trying to close these latches. I've noticed that when I do fill it up and I put some stuff in there and I try to go to close the latch, it's not closing because stuff is obstructing the latch. So as you see, it's nice. It gives you some options, but it's just not super deep. And like I said, to me, that's, you know, not ideal, but it's not a deal breaker. All right, next up, you guys, Livewell. Super cool. You do have a Livewell. Kind of going back with the storage, I'm kind of being forced to use this for some storage, my kids' life jackets, some fenders, just while I'm not using that Livewell. So I guess that's kind of what I'm going to continue to do. If I need to move stuff around, I will. If I knew that I was going to go out on like a fishing trip and I needed live bait, wanted a Livewell, I would just go ahead and take everything out beforehand. So like I said, these things aren't deal breakers to me. I know what I was getting. To me, having the open space, the tiller floor plan is what is important. All right, moving on. Rod locker down the side of the boat. Once again, you know, it seems like a pretty good size, and you know, which it is. Okay, but it gets tight. I have a rod in here, a couple rods, my kids' rods, the oars in there, the lights. So it does get tight, but you have a rod locker, and that's really what was important to me. Moving on to your console, you got a gauge here for your RPMs, aerator, your bilge pump, your navigation lights, and your horn. Pretty straightforward. That's really all you get. Also on that side of the boat, you do have more storage. These are connected from here to there. So these do connect. So this is also considered a rod locker. I do have one here. It runs all the way there. You could use it for storage. Once again, for kind of whatever you felt necessary for you. But there is the storage on that side. You have one pedestal area. You have a seat here, and you have the cockpit where you are sitting for the tiller. These seats rotate any direction you want. They fold down. In travel, when I'm towing this, I just simply move the seats in reverse, just kind of like this, so the wind is blowing them closed and not forcing anything on the hinge. So as you can see, I'm moving around super easy. It's a windy day out here, and the boat is handling absolutely perfect. Let's move back to the motor. So on the 2025 units, you do have an option for a 25 horsepower. I'm pretty sure it's a 25 or a 40, which is this. I went with the 40. I wanted the extra power. To me, that's worth it. You have your trim adjustment up here on the handle. You have your throttle sensitivity, so kind of like your friction. You have your lanyard attachment right here when you're operating the motor. Yeah, pretty cool. Back here, like I said, you have your nav lights, and this is where I have my power pole in right now recording. And other than that, as you know, this is a tracker boat, so it does have the VersaTrack system. So I got a couple accessories coming that I will be using, just for maybe another cup holder. I do have, coming tomorrow actually, I do have a trolling motor stabilizer, which goes into the track and kind of clamps down onto the trolling motor and keeps that good. So overall, you guys, that is the boat, everything that comes stock. And then I'll do a quick little glimpse of the 3 mods that I did before the boat even touched the water, that I think if you're going to get one of these super guides, these V16s, you should think about doing. And I'll go ahead and show you guys those right now. So the first thing I did was threw my Garmin Striker 7 on here. It came with a Striker 4. So if you guys know anything about these Garmins, the Striker 4 is tiny. It's like the tiny rectangular fish finder. If I didn't have this Garmin already on the kayak, I probably would have kept it. But to me, when I bought the boat, having the 7 on the kayak and a 4 on the boat didn't make sense. So I went ahead and pulled the 4 off and swapped them. Just a little trick that I did, which was pretty straightforward, so you could route the wiring OEM. Like I said, I had a Garmin already, and they used the same power cord. So all I needed to do was swap the transducers out. So what I did was tied a shoelace or a string to the existing transducer, and I pulled that out. When I got that out, I tied the new transducer onto that shoelace and pulled it back through the exact same routing that the original one went through as well. So it was not very hard. It took me a little bit. I'm saying like an hour for the entire project to get the old one out, to get the new transducer in there, all re-screwed, and it looks great. It works flawlessly, and I have a bigger screen in the boat than that tiny little Striker 4. All right, second mod, back of the boat. This was one that in my research, all the people on YouTube that have this boat, the main thing that people complained about was the size of the gas tank. The tank that the boat comes with is a 6-gallon. It is pretty small, and if you're doing a lot of all-day cruising and open throttle, it's not gonna give you a lot of time on the water, or maybe a couple days without filling up. In these 3 days that I've had the boat, I have been doing the break-in period, so I've not been wide open, but I have used very little gas. So I say that with this upgrade, take it with a grain of salt. It might not be for you right away. Maybe hit the water, see how it goes, see how much gas you are burning before you go ahead and decide to throw that bigger gas can in. All right, but like I said, the upgrade is replacing the 6-gallon with a 12. And that's what I did here. I swapped out the 6 for this big 12. It's a low profile tank. It's on Amazon. I literally unscrewed the strap brackets, pulled the gas can out. You do need a special adapter to connect the old hose to the new tank. I'll add that into the description so you guys know what that is. Besides that, it was just a little bit of time spent. And like I said, it took me very little time for this project also. So took the strap off, pulled it out, and then just kind of laid out first where the new strap brackets go, because there's one on each side. Got those in, screwed them in, put the new tank on, put the valve on, and that was that. Pretty straightforward. I did have to move the batteries because both these batteries were more in the middle because the gas tank was smaller. So I had to move the batteries over here to fit the new gas can, but it was very, very easy. And the final upgrade that I did before the boat even touched the water was throw one of these Noco Geniuses, the Gen 5 X2. Oh, let me get some focus on there. The Noco Genius, the 5 Gen X2. We threw the onboard power bank, just because it's very important that every time you're off the water, you throw your batteries on a charger. It's one of those things where nobody wants to spend time charging a battery, coming back out, putting the next battery on the charger. It's way easier to have everything wired up to one bank that stays on the boat. You put your boat where it goes, you plug the cord in, and it's charging your batteries. I get the boat back to the shop, plug it in, and I walk away. That really is the boat, you guys. It is small, yet big enough for everything I need. 16'1". I hope that I'm giving you guys a little bit of a good perspective here on the boat. I think the GoPro is gonna give you a good idea of how it looks with me walking around, how stable it is. Like I said, I am out here on a windy day on Lake Winnebago, and the boat is totally stable. Very cool. I'm very happy with it so far. Today is day 3 on the water. We just got through our second hour of break-in on our engine, so we can kind of let her rip now. I think it says for the next 8 hours, no more than 5 minutes on wide open throttle. I want to get the drone up in the air. We'll get some footage for you guys, just kind of how this looks from the outside. Fish this bank, and then I think we're just going to head out of here. So hope you guys really, really like it. Like I said, this video was short and sweet, a little bit different today. Maybe we'll add some fishing in here now for a little bit, but besides that, just kind of wanted to show you how much I like this new tracker. Super Guide V16T. Tiller, new for the 2025 lineup, man. And I couldn't be more excited. So I appreciate you guys. I think we have some big collabs coming soon, some fun stuff. Make sure that you subscribe. I appreciate it, up and coming on this channel. And I hope that all you guys can come with me for the journey, because it's only a matter of time before it's up. Appreciate you guys. And until next time, peace.